So very good morning. Today's session is to look at some popular paediatric products. Silvalea do a wide variety of products, but we've chosen a few of our most popular just to share with you, because we know how difficult it is and how paediatric clients need something more specific. So we will showcase a few of those for you. I'm going to start with a couple of manual products. So just to help with manual situations, first being the little walk assist. So my colleague Judith here. So Judith is our,
Good morning.
She looks after our paediatric schools. So you may have spoken to her, Judith Page, but she's often chatting to our school therapists. So yes, this is Jude, but we're just going to put this little walk assist on to start with. So looking at more compliance scenarios, the walk assist is a little jacket, right? Sorry, that's got handles. So sort of handles specifically positioned to help prevent grabbing clothing, arms. So for somebody that's got some slight unstable gait, then you've got these positioning handles here. So the carer can then just guide. There's some on the sides as well. It's made in a lightweight mesh with an expander zip to the side, so it can go over outside clothing or thick layers, but very straightforward. As I said, it's just a steady. It's not a manual lifting product. It's just to steady someone. It was developed for a youngster who literally, mum was grabbing her arm and clothing just to keep her steady as she walked. So we devised this little harness, like a waistcoat that just slips on. So this is the walk assist. All the products we're featuring are really detailed fully on the website. So if you need to look at them in further detail, sizing, all the spec on them they're on the website. You just look up walk assist. So that's the first product. Thank you, Jude. The second manual product is the manual transfer sling. So we're looking at my other colleague here. Jude, do you want to take this side? I've got a bit of an injury, so I'm being a bit clumsy. So when we haven't got a hoist and you need to sort of lift someone from the floor, or for travel, so the little manual harness here, or manual sling, is very useful. It's a sling shape. It's applied through the legs, connects together with a modesty, zips the legs together, but it's got lots of positioning handles for holding. So for manually transferring, they're all around the edges. So you can have the handles like that or together. Do you take that inside? We can take whatever, 2, 3 carers, 4 carers, depending on the weight, of course, and the manual handling regulations. But for little ones, very useful for inclusion. So if you've got to sit someone on a mat or a floor for reading times and things like that. But there is a filler here to prevent them slipping through. But we've done them without a filler. So often it's recommended for emergency rectal medication. So it's possible to have it without the filler. Bones in the back here. So there stays there to give extra support. You go round back to the front. The sizing of this is really tricky, actually, because they're very, very skimpy. And if you look at the sizing guide, it will give you top of head to base of spine. If you need full head support, you may have to go up several sizes because they are quite skimpy. But waist support there, a very gentle manual introduction to slings. So to get someone used to the feeling and that type of scenario. So that's the manual transfer sling. Okay, there's one more manual and then we'll see if there's any questions. So this is a clever innovation for Silvalea, and it's a sling in a bag. It's a travel product. Basically, it's all in one. So very good for days out, family inclusion, trips like that. But if Julie will just explain, it all unfolds and it can be used as a manual product or a hoistable one. So it's all in one. We've got some really good photos and images on the website, which we'll show in a moment. But it is literally a sling shape. It's a sling shape with these hoistable straps applied like a sling, divided leg, but the straps can be folded up and tucked into the pocket. Do that when you're using it as a manual product. And the manual product applies exactly the same, but the sides then all ruche up to contain someone. It's made in this lightweight fabric, which is our Superfine. Fine is a lightweight, smooth stretch fabric. Often we make it for our in situ leave-in products, which we'll explain later. But it's very light. It is a mesh, can be used for bathing. Ree, if you wouldn't mind just bringing up, we've got a little bit of information on the website which might be helpful to visualize it. So for these images, you know, days out, lifting from a wheelchair, you know, in play. So this demonstration is onto a adaptive swing. But very useful. It's lightweight and it just literally folds up. This is a changing place scenario when you're out and need to change. But lots of helpful information on sizing. All the things we see will give you the data sheets with all the information, sizing, where to measure, codes, safe working loads, things like that. So everything's available on the website to help you. Instructions, there's a good instructional video there. So please, you know, once you've seen the session, if you need further information, have a look on the website. Thanks, Ray. But just to fold it back up, it tucks into the hood part, a bit like folding up a pillowcase, you know, wrapping it around a pillow, all tucks up, feed it up. We do make very tiny sizes. Of course, it's a manual product, so you need to be mindful of the manual lifting policy. So just be aware of that if you're considering this. But just tucks away, very useful for travel. A very good option for travel. Tuck it on your back or on a wheelchair. So let's just check. Ray, do we have any questions so far? They're the three sort of manual products to start with. Real good? Excellent, thank you. So then we've got a couple of harnesses. So we know it's really important for children to get them on their feet, get them to feel their feet if they're non-weight bearing, encourage them to stand. Very good all round for well-being. So we've got a couple of our most popular here, the Rachel harness and the Jolly jumper. The Rachel harness is the most popular, and it's a little waistcoat made in lightweight mesh, put on as a waistcoat. It's got a zipper section here, and then the clunk clip buckles to go around the groin. So it literally applies like a waistcoat. There is a slight adaptation. So if you have someone with contracted arms and very issues with shoulders, then there is an opening at the shoulder now so that it can be applied like a tabard. So clunk clip there. And then all the tapes are detachable. So this was developed for a youngster whose mum didn't have the strength to lift them. So dad would put the harness on, and then when needed to hoist into the buggy or the high chair, mum was able then to clip in the tapes like this and hoist up. So really quite versatile. But following that, it's now really popular within schools for lots of things. Play, encouraging natural patterns if they're on the floor. So the harness will take away all the handling. So as the harness is sort of raised with the hoist, then you can carry out the natural patterns of kneeling, high kneeling, standing without all the hands on. So that the harnesses are great for that type of scenario. Also really good, we know in schools where you've got a youngster that is at their desk, all their energy is then taken up with trying to sit up. Whereas the harness can do that if it's got an overhead or a mobile position behind them, so that it can hold up their trunk. So it's taking up that the body so they can carry out their activities. So it's a really excellent, versatile little harness. I just want to stand this up. I'm just going to take away the chair. Where will that bit? Just show you from the back. It's very smooth here. If you have got weight bearing, then you can unclip the front to allow for hygiene. So for, you know, if they need to walk to the toilet. It does come with, these are detachable, all adjustable, so adjustable depending on the hoist height, but it will come with a loop here at the hip and another set of tapes. These actually are to help get somebody into a prone position. They just clip on. So if you want to get someone in a prone or over a wedge, then you adjust the sliders, hook up the lengthen the shorten the front, and it will just, if you just lift you can just see how you can then transfer them in more of a prone position. I have to say they're often taken away and left off, but they, just so that you know what that loop is for and what the extra tapes are, then that's what they are. All the tapes are, I've got a slider adjuster so that you can get the required length, and a plastic bar now that goes at the top to prevent losing that loop there, but they just clip on. So very popular, usually in navy blue. It's lightweight mesh. It is a mesh, so you can use it for shower, bathing, hydro. Take her back onto the chair.
Also, it's thin enough to get into walking frames then, Mandy?
Walking frames, yes, things like that. So that's, if you are using it with a walking frame, it might be that we talk about doing the fastenings at the back so that it's smoother, because you don't want it to have buckles here. So we can do a reverse one if that's the purpose of the harness there. We're okay with that one. Any questions on the Rachel? We're good. So the other, thanks Jill, take that one away, is the other popular one is the Jolly Jumper, which is a bit like a baby bouncer. But the benefit of this, you haven't got the tapes in front of you. I always think this is a really good option because you've got just shoulder straps here that come over the shoulders and no tapes that interfere and get tangled up. So in many ways, there's lots of benefits with this one, although it's a bit more fiddly to put on. And it's got a really high back. So very good for anyone that throws their head back because you've got the support of the high back there. But Julie, if you just undo, so the straps here, they come over the shoulders and give really good support to the upper body. They're good solid ones, but they are fed through a channel at the side, which allows for growth. So as the youngster grows, you've got adjustment there, but you just need to make sure it's short enough to go then over the shoulders to give that trunk support there. And then these soft covers there for comfort. but it's easier to apply this one on the bed because you need to roll it to fix it round the back. If we just show you the backings, we've got that on. But we'll just stand him up. I'll just take the banana out of the way, please. Thanks, Jill. Just bring them forward a little bit and you can see. So we turn him around, we can see the back here. So this clips, it feeds through a side loop there and clips around the back. So it gives lots of stability to the hips. That can be just tightened up there. Again, it's got these full length bones for support. So really, good support to the back. But great, for play, family inclusion, sitting down, it's giving lots of support. So a great one to have a look at if you need a harness. And again, it reduces handling. So the harness is doing the support, particularly with the hoist. Harnesses can go on overhead, mobiles, depending on the height, of course. So if you're looking at someone taller, young adult, then you need to make sure you've got enough height. But the slings definitely come with lots of adjustment with the sliding tapes there. So that's the Jolly Jumper. How are we doing? We good? Right, we've got a few slings now. Let's just take this one over here. Take that. So going on to slings then, we've got a selection just to show you. Because we're not moving and handling advisors, forgive us if we're being clumsy and not doing things accurately, but for the session and for speed, we just wanted to show you the products. But the first product, which we know is popular for youngsters, is to have a sling that will allow good access for hygiene. You've got a regular, you've got an active user, then, we need lots of support by the sling, but still giving, good access to the belt line. So this is our Continental Easy Access. It's made in this really robust fabric, and it's solid polyester. So just put this on just like see. It's only going to the belt line, but in a way it's easier to get on because you're only going to get the sling here. Not got to struggle to get it right down, which sometimes can be an issue, particularly in tight chairs. But just going to the belt line. With this one, so just to explain the straps, we've got leg straps, a thoracic strap and a counterbalance, so 3 straps for this one. Apply it in the usual way by bringing the legs through, and always with leg straps, position them towards the behind the knee to start with. If they're positioned too high up, it's going to bite in. But the good thing about this particular sling, it's got foam in. So the whole thing is lined, got an inner lining of foam, so it's quite firm. And getting legs in makes it easier. It's not going to all fold up and ruffle up. And the fabric's got a natural sheen, so naturally it slides. So let's just go from the legs. So we've got the legs crossed first, and they've got the colour coding there. This thoracic band, it needs to go around the trunk and cross over to feed into the opposite loop. So this is going to then wrap the sling right around and fit very firmly from the sides. And then third is the counterbalance that the arms need to go through. So it's going to allow movement, the youngster to move and have some freedom, but it will keep them contained and safe for the transfer. So if we just bring in the hoist and just apply it slowly, so we just see what's going on. So let's go on yellow. We'll go on so the thoracic section has got lots of loops on, so if you need to have it a bit looser, then loosen it off, tighter, but it's going to really fit firm. So we're looking at a situation where you've got someone with reasonable to poor tone and you want to help support them, and so you need to have this fitted very firmly. Counterbalance strap needs to go on last so that if there is movement, it blows on top of the other tapes. And it has markers. So on here, we've got some markers to start with. So we position it on the yellow marker. And if you want to recline more, then we just extend it. It's quite adjustable. And if we just take up the slack, it's going to wrap around Jude. So just before we go too far, make sure we've got everything attached. It's going to fit firmly. So this is the thing with this. It's going to give the support, but it will fit firm. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. So just going around from the side, we've got the leg sections there, underarm, it wrapping around Julia's trunk there. And then from the back, we've got the belt line there. So good access for hygiene, as I said. But it's very firm. But if Judith was to extend, you can see that she's able to have that movement, but it's keeping her in as we transfer her. You bottom through it. Bring your knees up. Let's try. So it's great. It's really good for youngsters. The disadvantages then, it's going to fit firm. So if they don't like the firm fitness of it, then it may not be suitable. And it might bite in. So anyone that's a bit more shapely, they need to be mindful of that if it bites in around. And it's going to push the bust up. So youngster with a chest or a bust, it will. But, for certain situations, it's a really good solution. Also, the front bit, the area here is free. So anyone that's got a peg, it might be preferable than a chest strap here, because this area is free. But you just need to, the thoracic section doesn't overlap, it just comes around. If it's overlapping, it's a bit too big. And if you can put your hand in, then it's not too tight. If you extend these sliders, you can recline. Often a better position is to be more reclined. So it is versatile in that way by adjusting your tapes. So this is the easy access. Any questions? Everyone's quiet, everyone's okay? I didn't introduce Julie, actually. Julie is my colleague, who is our technical executive. So it's been with Silvalea many years. And is responsible for many of the designs. So if you've got a major technical problem, then go to Julie. Good, thank you, Jude. So yeah, that's that easy access. So thinking about the next style, don't go far, Jude. We'll look at the most popular in situ or leave-in sling. So this is the in situ deluxe. It's a deluxe leg, so it's got paddle legs that wrap around the femur. It's made from the superfine fabric, which is a 4-way stretch mesh, but it's got Coolmax inherent within the fabric, which allows moisture to wick away. So for anyone with temperature control issues, this is a really good lightweight fabric. It does have the stretch, it stretches each way, which is really good to hug curvatures. And because it's intended to be left in for extended periods, then we make it as seam free as possible. So it's very smooth. There's no handles, but we try and avoid any potential pressure. But it is very popular, and it will also, Jude, if you'd like to come back, allow access for hygiene if you need to have a toileting sling. So John to just speak. Again, the key thing is to get this down as low as possible, down, so that you can then bring the leg paddles towards the back of the knee. Often applied on a bed, but the key thing is to get it down. Always get the leg paddles in the right place. This top section here will sort itself out. But the key thing is to get the sling as low as possible. The leg paddles will have slip fit to both sides to help with inserting. And then these are connected with that little modesty, with the red loop there, to keep the paddles together. And then you take the outside tape through. So the leg sections on this style of sling, so this is a deluxe leg paddle, it picks the legs up from the outside, which is very beneficial if you've got anyone that's got pain, because it's picking the legs up and supporting the hips better, compared to a general purpose shape where it comes through the legs up to the hoist. That can then pull the leg sections and slightly externally rotate the hip. So any standard shapes are not so good if you have someone with significant pain, infantile arthritis, brittle bone. Always consider a sling that has these paddles and pick the legs up from the outside. Makes a massive difference. But just hooking this up then. All the tapes are colour coded for referencing. They're a guide. Often it's a case of let's try this position and then lower down if you need to adjust. Should we go on yellow? But it's just a case of just trying. We'll just put those on in a moment. And then just take up the slack and check. So let's just check that's down there. The head tapes, I'll explain the head tapes in a moment. Okay, it's more recline, that's fine. So we're a bit more reclined, but that may be your preferred position. Have a look. So very smooth and snug. This is it's a lovely fabric. This particular one is a medium, and it's because it's very fine and it has lots of stretch. So this one has a weight limit of 64 kilograms, which is 10 stone. And that's because of the stretch. If you have a heavier weight, then we double layer it. So there's 2 layers. And that stabilizes the stretch. So single layer is up to 64 kilograms. But it naturally will hug around Judith's natural contours really nicely. Leg paddles are supporting really well. The divided leg style, this is allows for movement. If Judith's a bit wriggling, the paddles act individually, so it's really good for a situation like that. The head support tapes, there's 2 options of applying these actually. This is threaded through one of the loops there, but you could loop it and take it directly to the hoist. So loop it back and then fix it. That sometimes that type of direction gives more head support. If you've got someone that has a lot of movement, you might need to have it directly up rather than going through the loop, which is lower. It's perfectly capable of doing that. There's 2 options there. There are bones in the back. Often people take those bones out, which is fine because Jude puts her head back. It naturally then sinks into the sling, but you need to then definitely hook it up to the hoist there to give support. Otherwise it would flip back. Often these are taken out and left out. What I have done also is added another tape here. So hip tape, if you're problem solving and you've got someone that's very active, and they need some extra lift here, then you can put enough tape on, and it really helps to lift that hip, distribute the weight. So if anyone with pain, it will help then take pressure from behind the knee. And it's another tape that just literally hooks on and up to the hoist by the slider, which we've seen before. But the key is to set it, so set the tension the same as the leg, so that you've got them picking up simultaneously. If it's too loose, it's not doing anything. But if it's too tight, it's going to force the hips up. But it just literally lifts that hip area very subtly and makes a big difference. It's also very good if you've got asymmetrical shapes and you need to adjust the sling tapes. Slings are very adaptable, and you can do that. If you've got a youngster that's sort of falling out and you're trying to hold them in, try and adjust the tapes. So shorten up one side, which you can do with the loops or the hip tapes. So, you know, it's all about risk assessment, finding the optimum pickup position, and then documenting it to make sure then you've got consistent care. But this is our most popular sling for paediatrics. It does have an aperture. Now, people do sort of think, oh, you're leaving that in, there's an aperture. Again, it's down to the individual risk assessment. It's working out what's the most appropriate. If you've got someone padded, then it's not going to be a problem. But if you need to get access for a toilet, then you need to have a divided leg sling. So what we say is just, you know, risk assess, apply sensible, proportionate common sense to the decision. But certainly, you know, it is one of our most popular. We had this style for many years without issues. And it's good for a wriggler. So if you've got a wriggler, you know, you've got control. If you are leaving it on, then what we would suggest is, as we just lowered you down, so leave-in slings, you know, there's always going to be a debate, and it's just working out what's helpful. There's choices, you know, there are other choices as well, but this one, as I said, is the most versatile. But if you have decided this is appropriate, then I would suggest just to reduce the amount of sling underneath. Is just take the leg sections just to the sides. They will slide out really easily because they've got the slip fit to both sides. That's minimizing then what's left underneath. But then it's there if you need to then hoist. And it's reducing all that handling, you know, pulling and tugging, which we know can be very distressing, particularly for youngsters. So a great style. Any questions? Anything we need to add?
Yes, the bag. It does come in a wash bag.
It does. So the superfine, any sling made of superfine, this lightweight mesh, comes in a specific little mesh bag. It's quite delicate fabric. We need to just be, you know, I'm just going to take it out, Jude, actually. It's light and fine, so we need to just be careful nothing gets snagged. Velcro's terrible if you've got anything with Velcro on. Often people will ask for a belt, chest strap or waist support with this. We make it with a little soft plump clip buckle rather than Velcro because it will tease the fabric. But when laundering, take the bones out of the head support and then put it inside this little mesh bag or a pillowcase, something like that. But it will come with a bag.
Yeah. Suitable for bathing.
Bathing because it's mesh. Yeah, the water will drain through it. Yeah. So that's the In Situ Deluxe. Are we all right? There's one more. Thank you, Jude. So for our most challenging of scenarios, we've got the Tinkham. So this is a sling that was designed for an escape artist and a youngster that was very challenging in fun, wanted to escape out of everything. So what we came up with was a sling that had these divided legs. The sling actually wrapped around the trunk, and then you've got this good solid head support. So the key thing was to break up that extension, and that was to keep the head forward, track the shoulders, lock the legs and hips like that. So the sling will do all that. So we'll just put it on, Jude, and explain. Looks like there's lots going on, lots of tapes, but if we do it slowly and explain, this is just going down to about just above the base. And then the leg sections are, they're universal shape, but they're a big curved shape. They've got slip fit to both sides. And this may be better applied on a bed. So applied on a bed, and if you have someone with lots of challenges like this, then you've probably got 2, maybe 3 carers that can help. But to get the leg sections on, then again, position them towards the back of the knee to start with. Then we've got a modesty loop across the width of the leg there to keep the legs together, and also one at the top. So we're trying everything to keep the legs locked together rather than, lots of movement there. So that's in place. Then we've got the little waistband here. This is bringing the sling in from the edges, so they're going to be wearing it. This needs to be positioned just mid trunk. Don't worry about the top section, because there's a soft roll that's going to nestle in the neck. But if you try and position that first, then everything's going to be too high. But because of the stretch of the fabric, as we hoist Judith, it will stretch around her. So then the neck section will reposition itself. But the most important thing is to get the waistband in on the waist. That will help with the right positioning, and the leg sections then behind the knee. So we've got the leg sections. There are 2 sets of hip tapes. So we talked about the benefit of the hip tapes lifting and supporting the leg, but 2 sets will help to keep the hips flexed and prevent that extension. And it may be that we need to lock them. The lower one towards the knee is going to be shorter than the upper one, so that it keeps the legs bent. So on sliders can be adjusted. And then going up, we've got a shoulder strap. So this is the shoulder strap that's going to help retract the shoulders like that. And then head support tape. So lots and lots going on. But have a look at the video online, look at the drawing, and then build it from the bottom up, and then it will make a bit more sense. But if we attach it, these tapes are slightly different. I'll explain these in a moment. So let's go on, I think we'll go on green. Green leg. The 2 hip tapes. And then red. Head. Shoulder. I'll leave the head one off a moment. So we're just going to take out the slack and start wrapping around Jude. Okay. Put your arms out, that's it. Good? Yeah. Right. Let's just go through it slowly then. So we've got the leg sections here. The legs, they've got the modesty across the leg there and at the top to keep the legs together. From the side, we've got the 2 hip tapes. Just lift your arm. So the lower one towards the knee, and then the upper one there. That's giving lots of hip support there. Thank you. Put your arm down. Actually, the sling then is wrapping around her body here and being fixed. The buckle in the front. And then the shoulders, this tape's coming around the shoulders to retract the shoulders there. But the head support tape, if we put that on, let me get it on shore, it will then lock Judith's head forwards. There is a little pocket here, Jude, you want to put, but if she's twisting, then that pocket won't or stop her from falling out. So the whole thing, the neck section is ridden up. So there's a little neck roll that's ridden up now. We just go around. It's manufactured in the Superfine Plus fabric, which is a spacer mesh, a 3-dimensional mesh. So it's quite spongy. A mesh, so you can actually use it for bathing, but there is reasonable access as well. It means we can get it on in a chair if needed. But if Jude was to wriggle and extend and twist, which is very good at, twist round, then, you know, this type of scenario you may have seen, and, you know, it is a great style. Thank you, Judy, that's excellent. Thanks. Then you can see how the sling would support someone if they presented like that. Sizing can be tricky because to get that accurate support, then it may have to be tailor-made, and then we would help with taking measurements. There is a standard guide. Certainly you can have a look for a couple of measurements. And we know often with the most challenging that you won't know until you try. So if you have any scenarios where you may need, then talk to us. We may have some samples close to the size, but as I said, it's very, very challenging. It may be easier to take measurements and provide something that's more tailored. We can help with, you know, we want to support you and help you as much as we can. We do have some dealers and we do have some trial slings. So we can link up like this and do an assessment, an e-assessment, which we do often. So we can see the scenario, maybe then demonstrate some styles, recommend some options and see what we've got when we decide on the sizing. So there's lots of ways of helping you. We also, oh, the tapes, yeah. These tapes are, they're called our safety slot, silver safety slot. Do you want to jump out a minute? Get it closer to the. So the safety slot tapes are, they work the same. They're colour coded the same as a sling tape. But in many ways, they're more beneficial because you can fold them up, tuck them away. They're lightweight. They're attached on a loop here that has some movement, which will then find the natural direction, prevent a non-directional pull. So they're very good. There's lots of information on the website if you want to just check them out. But this style comes as standard with the safety slot tapes on. They can be put on other slings as well. So if you think they may be helpful, but certainly for leave-in slings, if they're being left in, then they're very neat and will just tuck away.
Good access for toileting too.
This has got good access, yes it has. It's versatile in many ways, but you just need to know sizing. But any questions?
Someone just asked, how does the tinker work if the client throws themselves forwards?
Okay, so if you've got someone that does the forward, then you need to make sure you've got them slightly more reclined. You know, you're not going to stop them, but it will help to keep them safer for that transfer. So lock their legs up, recline them, you know, keep the head support tight. If that determines there's probably not much that you can stop. You may be better off in the easy access because that's giving a lot of support here. It's a case of trying. I don't think, you know, to be honest, slightly recline, I would say, to help. I mean, it's good. If they're challenging, they'll be determined, I'm sure. But you just want to keep them safe. That's the whole purpose, is having a safe transfer, which are quite short generally. But that will definitely contain them. The tinker will definitely contain them. Just there might be a bit wriggling, but yeah. Any others? We do have, and I don't have an example, but we do have a new paediatric chair. So the paediatric chair is a daybed type chair, tilt in space. certainly if you have a look at the adult version on the website, we've got any images of the paediatric one. Don't know whether we can, of course we have, yes, just realised. Just show you. It's a great little chair. We've been showcasing it now for a few weeks, and people have been wanting it immediately because of the quality, what it can do. It's lightweight. It's got 3 to 4 pressure relieving, but a great option for children. Very easy, lightweight casters, white clean. It's got specific pockets throughout which will distribute the pressure naturally throughout, so really good. There are additional things you can add in, wedges, things like that, but it's a great style, and certainly if you need to have a look at one, we have got a team now who are really happy to come out and showcase them for you, adult and paediatric, along with the slings. You know, we certainly have got help now to visit, so please just contact customer services and we will pass any inquiries on. I know it's helpful to see products, feel them, have a demonstration in that way. So please, if we can help, we certainly will. Anything else we can add? Judith, do you want to say anything else, or do you have any?
No, I mean, we can send you the paediatric brochures, and if there's any questions, quotes that you need, and like I say, any assessments, yes, please give us a call. You can have a customer services at silvalea.com, or you can contact myself and I'll be able to help you.
We do have a poster, actually, I forgot to mention that, which we can email. Certainly, it details most of the styles we've looked at this morning at a glance. Certainly you can read, just brings it up. It gives you a little reminder of what we've seen. That might be helpful to you. We're very happy to send you one of these out. We'll just send a little feedback form after the session. But also, if anyone's going to the back exchange, we're there. We're at the back exchange next week from Sunday at the NEC, one of the hotels in the NEC. Thanks, Roo. And we'll also be at the OT show, which is in November. So please come and find us if you're there. We'll have most of our products there. Certainly the chairs will be there, so we can show you those as well. But thank you very much for your time. Are there any final questions? We do have other sessions coming up, so please look at the website for the prospectus. They're most months, and they certainly, you know, feature different subjects that might be helpful. But thank you very much to Julie and to Judith and Rhiannon this morning for helping me, and look forward to seeing you in the future. So thank you very much, everybody.